Okay, so here we have it, grade nines. We've got a question based on Pythagoras. So we've got Pythagoras that we need to deal with here. And the question reads as follows. So they say in the diagram B is equal to 90 degrees. So this is the angle in question. So we've got B equal to 90 degrees. AC equal to 5 units. So our AC is that part there, which is then given as 5 units. And then they go on and say that BC is equal to 3 units. So let me just mark BC there, BC being 3 units. And then finally they give us the value of BD, which is equal to square root 7. So we then have square root 7. And then they say calculate the length of AD and DC. So these are the two that we're looking at. So the first one they're telling us to calculate is AD, and they're also telling us to calculate DC. Um, what I like to do is, when I'm given a question like that, I like to start with whatever they're asking me to calculate first. So in this case, they're asking me to calculate AD. So guess what? I'm not going to go and calculate DC, right? I'm going to go directly and calculate AD before I do anything there, right? So a little bit about AD here. If I look at AD, what is it? It is part of AB, right? So think about it like this. This is your length of AB, but what am I missing? I am missing this part here. So the question is, if I want to give the size of this, what can I possibly do? I can calculate the length of this entire thing there because I am not given the side AB, right? So that means I can calculate it and then subtract BD, and that will then give me AD. So let's just quickly draw up an equation for that. So I can then say AB is equal to what? Is equal to AD plus DB, right? That's the blue part. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an orange part. Is that orange? No, it's green. Let's go for, yeah, let's go for green. So for the green part, what I'm going to do is, because I'm looking for the side AD, I'm going to rearrange this formula here. Because I said that AB, right, AB, the whole length is equal to what? To AD plus what? Plus DB. But now I'm going to move things over the bridge and change my sign. So in this case, what I'm looking for is AD there, right? So that means I need to move this guy over the bridge. So my final answer, what I'm going to say is here is AD is equal to AB minus DB, right? So that means I need to do a little bit of algebra in my mind before I even start the question. So let's now move on and calculate the side what of AB, because that I can calculate using Pythagoras, right? And that's the basis of this question here. So I can just simply say that my hypotenuse squared, we get that to, my hypotenuse squared is equal to what? It's equal to the sum of my adjacent sides squared. So a squared plus b squared, and my reason is Pythagoras. Right? So that's my reason. And then I can go on and start substituting my values there. So my hypotenuse is equal to AC because that's the one opposite what? My 90 degrees. So that means I'm going to have here 5 squared is equal to what? My A value is then any one of these. I could either pick AB or can pick BC, but I'm going to start with BC. So I'm going to say 3 squared plus AB, right? And what should I do with that AB? I should square it. In this case, now I have this type of situation, so what I'm going to do, start moving things around. So I'm going to move the 3 squared over the bridge, so I'm going to have 5 squared minus, because it was a positive this side, 3 squared is equal to AB squared. So my final answer for AB is just this square rooted. So I'm going to have 5 squared minus 3 squared square rooted is equal to AB. What have I moved over the bridge? I have moved the square over the bridge. It turns into a what? A root. Right? So here, let's get my calculator. Final answer. I was busy with the grade 9s before this. So final answer here is then square root 5 squared minus 3 squared gives me an answer of 4. So AB is equal to, I can even say AB is equal to 4 units. Right? But does that answer my question? No, it doesn't, because I'm still looking for the side of what? Of AD. So that I'm going to then go and do it in blue. So in order for me to find the side of AD, I'm going to say AD is then equal to what? AD is equal to AB. AB is this answer here. So I'm going to say 4 minus, was it, did they say BD or did they say DB? Okay, we went for DB. We're going to say minus this part here. So that's minus square root 7. So my final answer, let's just quickly check in our calculator. So we're going to then say 4 minus square root 7, which gives us what? Negative square root 7 plus 4. So it's still the same thing, doesn't change. Just rearrange. Negative square root 7 plus 4. Why am I leaving it like that? Here in our question it says, leave your answer in third form if necessary. And it is necessary because that's what I got in my calculator, right? So with that said, what I'm going to do is just quickly mark this as 4 minus square root 7. And then move on to the next question. The next question is asking me to figure out the length of DC, right? So still with Pythagoras, what am I going to say? I'm going to say, let's write it here. Do we have enough space? Okay, I'm going to write it here. H squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Reason is what? Pythagoras. I'm just going to say Pyth for now, but you know, educators always prefer you guys writing the full Pythagoras name in it. And then now we're going to substitute our values. So here, what is our hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is the one opposite our 90, so that means DC is our hypotenuse. So I can say DC squared is equal to A. I'm going to pick any of the adjacent side. Adjacent to who? Adjacent to the 90 degree, right? So I'm going to then say, excuse me, so square root 7 squared. Can you see that I've put in brackets there because I'm doing some substitution? And then here I then have 3 squared. And then I can just square root this. So DC is then equal the square root of square root 7 squared plus 3 squared. And the whole reason for this, for me putting in my brackets, is so that it's much easier for me to deal with it in my calculator. So now I can just put this in my calculator. Okay, so now we have square root, and then put my brackets, put the square, so it's my brackets a square of what? 7. Go outside. Now I'm 2. 7. Okay, and then put my bracket again, and then square that and say plus brackets 3, and I square that as well. So DC then gives me a value of 4 units, right? Okay, so that's about it for this video. Please enjoy the rest of your day. So this is then 4 units. So there you have it, guys. That's about it. Bye.